Welcome back to Let's Talk Careers with Miss V. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are speaking with Shikha Mahajan, who is the owner of Readings and Healings by Shikha. Welcome to Let's Talk Careers. How are you today, Shikha?
Thank you so much. I'm good. How are you?
I'm really well. I'm so excited to talk about your career journey. It's a very, very interesting one. And what's the most interesting for me is where it began and what you're doing today. And I think that young people will be really curious about it. But before we talk about what you're doing today, I'd like to take you back to when you were a teenager. You were interested in engineering. You wanted to be an engineer. Tell us more about where that want and hope for engineering came and how that kind of evolved as you grew older.
It's interesting, like how it has changed so much because when I was a teenager, like you said, I wanted to be an engineer. And I think, like, how they say a lot of your wants and desires come from your peers and from your environment, from your family, from your friends. I think because a lot of people were trying to be doctors and engineers when I was growing up, I just thought, like, because I didn't want to be a doctor, it takes a lot of guts to dissect and do all of that, which I couldn't. So I thought, like, engineer would be a safe choice for me. And that was it. I mean, that was the only reason that I wanted to be an engineer, not that I was passionate about it or I thought, like, this is the only thing that I want to do. And then going forward, I I feel like I did not get the right kind of guidance to pursue it, or I was maybe because I was not interested in it. I just didn't feel that I want to go further with it. So after my 12th grade, I switched to graphic design, which again is like very different. And I did it only because I got the admission easily in that college. And I went with a friend who was going for the test, and she wanted to do something different, and she changed eventually. But I just got into the college, so I pursued graphic design. And afterwards, I thought, like, I'm really interested in fashion. So I applied for fashion marketing rather than design because I thought, like, marketing was easier than design. And I think that was a mistake again. So I went to New York to pursue fashion marketing, and I stayed there for 2 years. So the experience was beautiful. And I did it from Parsons, which is, again, like one of the best colleges. Um, and then I came back again to India because I was there in 2010. And at that time, the economy was really struggling, even though I really wanted to stay there. Again, not for the right reasons. I just wanted to stay there because I thought, like, I was having fun and this is it for me. And then I came back and I just worked in fashion marketing for some time. But again, I didn't feel that connection or any passion about whatever I was doing. And then I got married in 2015. Until then, I was pursuing this fashion marketing. And after that, my father passed away in 2016. And that was the turning point in my life. That is when I thought, like, I was working in Australia at that time, and I was working for a transport company. And I hated my job. I thought, like, what am I doing with my life? And I was in such a rut that I could not even look for other jobs. I could not even find my passion at that time. And when my father passed away, I took a break from that job because I was with my mom in India for some time. I wanted to support her, be there for her. And that's when I realized that I need to go for yoga and, like, just find myself, like, go on a journey just by myself. And that's when I went to Rishikesh, and I did a teacher's training course in yoga. And then I found out about numerology, and I found out about healing, Reiki healing as well. And that's when I pursued it, and I started doing all of this in 2017. And since then, I've just loved whatever I do. I mean, there's so much. I would not really call it passion, but I really want to help people because I've been confused for such a long time in my own life that I really want to help people find what their life purpose is all about, what they should be doing, like apart from the jobs that they have which help them support financially, um, but what their soul calling is. So numerology really helps with that.
That's amazing. And I know listening to this right now will be young people thinking, she went to Parsons. How did she not love it? What would you say to a young person who might be like, how could you not have continued? You went to Parsons.
I think a lot of what I did in my life, so I've done a lot of other short courses as well, apart from whatever I mentioned. But whatever I've done, it's just been a journey. It's just been steps to find out what exactly I wanted to do, what I would love doing, and like how they say, you should be doing something that you would do for free. So, something that you love so much. So, this is what I love so much that I would just do it for free. It doesn't matter how much I'm earning. And I think I'm able to say that also because I have my husband's financial support as well. Even though I would like the business to really grow um, to that point where I don't need anyone's financial support, but this is something that I feel I was born for. So that's why like Parsons was an important part of my journey because it made me completely independent. I was living there by myself. I had no family there. I had friends obviously, and I loved New York. I wanted to stay there. But then again, I think it was the part where I felt I was independent, but I wasn't enjoying fashion marketing so much, to be honest. And that's why I didn't.
Tell us more about the transferable skills that you gained from graphic design, fashion marketing to what you're currently doing now with healing and Reiki and numerology.
Graphic design, I would say, like I used to design my own pamphlets and my cards. So that's the skill that I got from graphic design. And fashion marketing, Parsons, I think, like more than the fashion aspect of it, I obviously like, I mean, all the girls like dressing up and shopping and buying clothes and bags and shoes for themselves or be it anything fashion. But apart from that, being at Parsons and like going through those 2 years, like studying whatever there was and meeting those people, being with those people really made me independent and realize how important it is to be on your own and how important it is to be confident in whatever you do.
Would you say that that's equally important to a young person traveling abroad and getting that cultural experience, the experience of being on their own through their university journey as well?
Yeah, I think it is very important to be on your own and to experience different cultures, more so now because we are living in a world where, like, wherever you go, there's, I mean, in most places, I would say that I've stayed in, I've met people from all the different cultures, and it makes you more accepting. It makes you evolve more, and you get to learn so much. And I feel like even though like certain rituals or certain things may be different about different cultures, but at the end of the day, we are all the same, and all of us are looking for love, compassion, and kindness.
Tell me more about what you do when you're helping a client through numerology or Reiki. How do you help clients? I think this is an important question for a young person watching this because they might be thinking, well, I'm taking all these subjects at school, but what if I want to do a career like that? What are some of the skills that I need? So when you're helping clients, what would you say are the most needed skills as you work with them?
This is for me personally. I feel that there should be a desire to help other people, to really like help them clear their confusion and to find out their life purpose or to deal with any situation that they are going through and which is troublesome for them. So with numerology, you actually take the date of birth and then you add it up. And with that number, you do the reading, a detailed reading of what their life purpose is all about, what their challenges are going to be, what they are going to struggle with, what they are going to be good at, and what their pinnacles and challenges are throughout the life. So I think that is something that is really helpful, especially for a young person, because then you don't have to worry about or like think about six different things that you can do as a teenager and then try to figure out one of those. Because if you know what you're good at, what your skills are, I mean, what skills you could hone on, then there's not much confusion left. It's easy to narrow down things that'll be good for you. And then with Reiki healing, it's energy healing. So basically, any blockages that you have because of the stress that you've been going through, and there's a lot of stress as a teenager, I'm sure you can imagine. Um, and whatever stress that you're going through or whatever activities that you're doing, it creates energy blockages, so you could just clear all those blockages. It's very good for your physical health as well as mental health.
What would you say, because you're not just helping people, you're also building a business. So as an entrepreneur, what would you say are the most essential skills that you need to build your business?
That is something that I'm still learning, because I started this in Australia and then I started working for websites over there after my son was born, and this was in 2020. So, and that was going really well. I was working for a few websites at the same time. And that time I didn't need to do any marketing. Before that, I used to put up markets and do this at the markets, and that was so I think perseverance, and also like at in this age and day, you need to be good at everything. And if you can't like do your own marketing, like be good at Instagram or Facebook, or word of mouth is not your thing, or networking is not your thing, which promotes word of mouth, then maybe you should hire somebody to do that for you.
So definitely going back to being younger and taking graphic design and fashion marketing, those tools and skills are coming in very handy for you right now as an entrepreneur. As we're coming to the end of this conversation, Shikha, I know that your 3 career tips are: find what you like, never give up, and set realistic goals, plan well, and get that needed support. Why are these your top 3?
Because again, like if you find what you like, then the work is not going to seem like work. It's going to seem effortless, and you're going to love doing what you do. So I think that is very, very important, because if you're happy in what you're doing, then you just like give your 100%, maybe more than that, and the results are amazing. And then set realistic goals, because like I, I used to be like that. I used to think that overnight this is going to be really big. Everybody's going to want the reading and healing. So I think that's not realistic at all, and that obviously like makes you like gets you upset in the long run. So just set realistic goals. Be slow and steady wins the race, and then never give up. That's very, very important, because I've faced a lot of setbacks, and moving so much. We moved from Sydney to Melbourne, and then Melbourne to Dubai. So moving around so much, again, like these are sort of setbacks, because you have to start everything from square one. So don't give up on your dreams, because I think what you love doing is very, very important in life, because that's what's going to make you, or into somebody who you would admire later on in your life, and that's very important.
You know, it's something that we haven't spoken about, but I think it's an important conversation to have, especially with young students right now planning those next career steps. How does family come into play in building a career as an entrepreneur? What would you say are some of the benefits of being in a family unit, being a mom, having a child? And what are some of those challenges as an entrepreneur?
Um, if your family is supportive, like be it anybody in your family, your dad, your mom, as a young person, and your siblings, if they are supportive, then definitely it helps a lot because it keeps you going. You have your support system and they are your cheerleaders. But as a mom specifically, I feel like it was a bit challenging in the beginning because I would always need to find someone who would take care of my son while I was working. And sometimes you feel that mom guilt that you're away and you can't cater to them. But I think it's so important to make yourself happy doing what you love, because if you try to serve from an empty cup, then you're not giving out anything. And if your cup is full because of the happiness that you experience doing what you do, then you just like perform 200% rather than 100%.
What would you say to a student who identifies as female as they grow older into their careers, now that you've come through your stages and you've found what it is that you really enjoy and you've started to build your family and build a business?
I think it's very important for females to recognize what they want from life. I don't advocate the fact that everyone should be working once they have a family. I think it's more upon your choice whether you want to work or you don't want to work. It should be about what you want, what you're comfortable with, and what's your true desire. Like I've seen so many people who are just like very happy serving families, being in the family environment all the time, being with kids all the time, and to each their own. I mean, if somebody loves that, definitely. But if you are somebody who loves having a career or loves working, going out, then by all means, like even if you have children, it doesn't matter whether you have one or two, there's a lot of support system out there today. You could get nannies, you could send them to daycare, you could also do a part-time, you don't have to do a full-time job. So there are so many options out there, and you should definitely like focus on what you like doing. And again, it doesn't even have to be like that you have to go out of the house. You could be working from home. And with a lot of like these projects where you are self-employed, there's so much work that is done from home rather than from outside. So you could like look after your kid and still be working, which is
Amazing.
great, I think.
Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your journey and talking to us about where you wanted to be when you were a teenager and all of the how you've evolved through the years. I think it's very important for young people to hear these stories, because just like you thought you wanted to be an engineer when you were really young, life changed and you evolved through that time. And having those experiences abroad, I think, are definitely part of that process of finding yourself. And that brings us right to the end of another incredible conversation. Today we spoke with Shikha Mahajan, who is the founder of Readings and Healings with Shikha. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next Let's Talk Careers with Miss V.